What if I told you that the heavy, swollen, tired feeling in your legs after 60 isn't simply a result of getting older, and that brushing it off could silently be chipping away at your independence one afternoon at a time? If your legs feel weighted down, puffy, or drained by midday, especially once you pass the age of 60, it is easy to chalk this up to the natural aging process. Many people believe that poor circulation is something they simply have to live with, the same way they accept slower starts to the morning or hair that turns gray. But here is something that often catches older patients off guard when a surgeon breaks it down in straightforward terms. In many situations, the issue is not your heart, and it is not solely your arteries. It is a small cluster of muscles in your lower legs that have gradually stopped pulling their weight. One principle shared across orthopedic and vascular medicine has been taught in clinical settings for many decades. Your calf muscles function like a secondary heart for your legs. Each time they squeeze together, they assist in pushing blood back upward toward your heart. As they lose strength, blood tends to gather around the ankles and the lower portion of the legs. This explains why swelling, aching, and that weighted sensation so frequently appear together. In research published in the Journal of Applied Physiology in 2021, scientists followed a group of older adults dealing with mild circulation issues and discovered that focused calf muscle activation meaningfully improved venous blood return over the course of just a few weeks. These participants were not jogging or engaging in demanding workouts. They were performing one remarkably straightforward movement that most people dismiss because it appears far too basic to make a difference. This is not to suggest that walking is harmful. Walking is wonderful for your overall well-being, but walking on its own does not always deliver the precise signal these muscles require, particularly after the age of 60. That is why many surgeons quietly suggest adding one targeted exercise to help support leg circulation and ease the discomfort that builds up throughout the day. In this video, I will guide you through that single movement, beginning gently and safely, exactly the way it is typically introduced to older adults. If you stay with me, you will understand why this one motion can leave your legs feeling lighter and far more comfortable without any equipment and without pushing yourself too hard. Before we get into it, if you have not yet subscribed, I encourage you to tap that button and switch on the notification bell so you never miss a health tip created specifically with you in mind. If this video speaks to you, drop the number 1 in the comments. If it does not quite hit the mark, drop a 0 so I can learn how to serve you better. Exercise number 5, gentle seated calf activation. This is the exercise that many surgeons begin with when an older patient brings up complaints about heavy legs, swollen ankles, or that worn-out feeling that creeps in as the day winds down. It looks almost deceptively simple, which is precisely why most people never consider it could be meaningful. Yet this small motion targets a muscular system that carries a critical role in leg circulation for people over 60. This exercise is performed while seated in a chair with both feet resting flat against the floor. There is no need to stand, no balance challenge involved, and no pressure placed on your knees or hips. What you are doing is softly lifting your heels while the balls of your feet remain in contact with the ground. When you do this, the calf muscles gently tighten and then release in a controlled and deliberate way. These muscles are sometimes referred to as the venous pump of the legs because their rhythmic contractions help push blood upward, working against the pull of gravity. In the context of everyday life, this carries more weight than most people appreciate. When the calf muscles are underused or have grown weak, blood can begin to pool in the lower legs. This contributes to puffiness, pressure, aching sensations, and that heavy feeling so many seniors describe. Strengthening and reawakening these muscles helps support circulation during extended periods of sitting, whether you are watching television, reading, or traveling in a vehicle. A study featured in the Journal of Applied Physiology followed older adults with mild circulatory concerns and confirmed that focused calf muscle activation meaningfully improved venous blood return over the course of several weeks. The participants were not engaged in strenuous activity. They were using simple seated motions that delivered a clear message to the muscles responsible for helping blood circulate. To perform this safely, sit upright in a solid chair. Position both feet flat on the floor, roughly hip-width apart. Gently lift your heels as high as feels comfortable while keeping your toes planted. Pause for a brief moment at the highest point. Then bring your heels back down to the floor with steady control. Keep the pace slow and breathe naturally throughout. If any cramping occurs, lower the height of your heel raise or pause and rest briefly. A common error is rushing through the repetitions. Speed is not the objective here. Slow, controlled movements are far more beneficial for circulation than hurried bouncing up and down. Another frequent mistake is holding the breath, which can actually diminish the benefit and leave you feeling lightheaded. For older adults, this exercise supports daily comfort, builds quiet confidence, and helps maintain independence. It can be performed every single day, even several times throughout the day, without causing fatigue. Many people begin to notice that their legs feel notably lighter and less tense within a few weeks of steady practice. This gentle reactivation sets the stage for the next movement, where we begin to layer in stability and functional strength in a safe and supported manner. Exercise number 4, supported ankle to knee flow. Once the calf muscles have begun to wake back up, the logical next step is to encourage blood to travel more freely through the joints located just above them. This soft movement directs attention to the ankles and knees working in coordination, which becomes increasingly important for smoother circulation through the lower legs as the years go by. This exercise is still performed while seated, which keeps it accessible and safe for virtually everyone. You sit in your chair with both feet resting flat on the floor. One leg at a time, you gradually slide your foot backward toward the base of the chair, allowing the knee to bend. Then you ease it forward again until the leg approaches a straightened position. The pace is slow and deliberate, more like guiding the joint along a familiar path than pushing it in any direction. As the knee moves through this bending and straightening cycle, the muscles surrounding it contract and relax softly, supporting the continued upward movement of blood through the legs. In practical daily terms, this matters significantly because many older adults go through extended stretches where their knees barely shift position, particularly while sitting. Reduced knee movement can slow circulation and lead to stiffness and fluid buildup below the joint. By bringing back this natural bending and extending pattern, you help prevent fluid from settling into the lower legs throughout the day. Research highlighted by the Cleveland Clinic has demonstrated that gentle and repeated joint motion improves venous return and reduces stiffness in older adults, particularly when it is paired with muscle activation below the knee. The key is not the difficulty of the movement, but the regularity of comfortable motion that keeps both the joints and their surrounding tissues engaged and active. To practice this safely, sit with a tall posture and rest both hands lightly along the sides of the chair for support. Slowly draw one foot backward, bending the knee to whatever degree feels comfortable. Hold briefly at that position, then guide the foot forward again. Alternate to the opposite leg and continue. Keep your breathing easy and let the motion remain fluid. If any knee discomfort arises, reduce the range and work only within a pain-free arc of motion. A mistake many people make is bending the knee too aggressively or moving through the range too quickly. This exercise should feel soothing and welcome to your body, not demanding. Think of the process as gently oiling a stiff hinge rather than testing how far it will go. For seniors, this movement supports comfort and self-assurance when transitioning from sitting to standing, during walking, or when navigating steps. It builds upon the circulation gains established through the first exercise and begins preparing your legs for the movements ahead, where balance and stability will start to play a more active role. Exercise number 3, supported standing weight shift. Once circulation has been gently encouraged through the calves, ankles, and knees while seated, the next progression is to help your legs rediscover how to manage your body weight in a safe and controlled environment. This movement reintroduces standing without placing unreasonable demands on your balance or strength. For this exercise, you stand behind a solid chair or beside a kitchen counter, with both hands resting lightly on the surface for reassurance. Your feet remain roughly hip-width apart. You then gradually shift your weight slightly onto one leg, ease it back through the center, and then shift gently toward the opposite leg. The motion stays subtle and calm throughout. You are not picking up your feet or testing how long you can hold a single leg stance. You are simply coaching your legs and hips to share your body weight fluidly and evenly. In everyday movement, this capacity for smooth weight transfer is absolutely fundamental. Every step you take, every time you change direction or adjust your position, your body must shift weight from one side to the other. When this transfer becomes hesitant or lopsided, circulation can suffer and the likelihood of stiffness or discomfort increases, especially after prolonged periods of sitting. Guidance offered by the Mayo Clinic underscores that supported standing movements help improve lower limb circulation and neuromuscular coordination in older adults, particularly when confidence with balance has begun to fade. These gentle side-to-side shifts encourage muscles to contract in a rhythmic sequence, supporting healthy blood flow without the demands of a full exercise program. To practice, stand tall with your chest open and your gaze directed forward. Shift your weight softly to the right side, noticing the sensation of pressure moving through your right foot. Return to center, shift to the left, and return again. Keep everything slow and measured, breathing at a natural pace. If you ever feel unstable, reduce how far you shift or allow more weight to transfer through your hands for support. A common error is locking out the knees or allowing the upper body to tilt too far to one side. The objective here is quiet and controlled movement, not distance or range. Picture your weight moving the way a pendulum does, smooth, even, and entirely predictable. For older adults, this exercise builds balance, supports healthy circulation, and restores confidence while in a standing position. It layers naturally onto the seated movements that came before it and begins preparing your legs for more functional, real-world movement in the upcoming step. Exercise number 2, chair-assisted sit to stand. After your legs have been gently reawakened and your sense of balance has been reintroduced gradually, the next progression is to strengthen circulation through a movement that closely mirrors real life. This exercise centers on rising from a chair in a controlled and intentional manner, which represents one of the most significant actions for both leg strength and healthy blood flow once you are past 60. The movement begins from a seated position in a sturdy chair. Both feet are flat on the floor, positioned slightly behind the line of your knees. From this starting point, you lean your torso forward just enough to bring your weight into alignment over your feet. Then you rise to a standing position at a measured pace. Once you are fully upright, you pause for a brief moment before sitting back down with the same calm and deliberate control. Your hands can be placed on the armrests or rested on your thighs if additional support would be helpful. In the course of daily life, getting up from a seated position occurs many dozens of times throughout the day. Each time this happens, the large muscle groups in your thighs, hips, and calves engage together in a coordinated way. This combined contraction is particularly powerful for circulation because it drives blood upward through the legs while simultaneously building practical functional strength. When this movement starts to feel difficult, people naturally begin to avoid it, which can accelerate both muscle weakening and circulation decline. Information published by Harvard Health Publishing explains that sit-to-stand movements improve lower body muscle engagement and support venous blood flow in older adults when carried out slowly and with consistency. The emphasis is placed firmly on control rather than pace, especially for those managing any joint-related concerns. To practice this safely, begin with only a handful of repetitions. Take approximately 3 seconds to rise to your feet. Then sit back down even more gradually. Breathe continuously and resist the urge to hold your breath at any point. If your knees feel any discomfort, reduce how deeply you lower yourself or increase the use of your hands for support until your strength builds. A frequent error is dropping back into the chair at the end of the movement. This bypasses much of the benefit and can stress the joints unnecessarily. Lowering yourself slowly maintains muscle engagement throughout the descent, which is more beneficial for both circulation and overall confidence. For seniors, this exercise reinforces independence, lessens the need for outside assistance, and helps the legs feel more active and capable across the full course of the day. It prepares your body beautifully for the final exercise, where circulation, strength, and real-world movement converge in the most practical and meaningful way possible. Exercise number 1, controlled heel to stand flow. This is the movement that many clinicians quietly regard as the most valuable single exercise for leg circulation after the age of 60. Not because it is demanding or complicated, but because it draws together everything your legs depend on in daily life. It unites calf activation, weight transfer, and standing strength into one fluid and practical sequence. This exercise begins from a standing position with your hands resting lightly on a chair or counter for safety and confidence. Your feet are positioned hip-width apart. You start by slowly lifting your heels just slightly, feeling the engagement build through the calves, and then easing them back down. From there, you bend your knees softly and then straighten them again, as if you were just beginning to lower into a seated position, but then choosing to stand tall instead. The movement transitions smoothly from heel lift to a gentle partial stand, and then back to a relaxed and upright position. In the context of daily life, this pattern carries tremendous importance. Whenever you rise from a seated position, take a step forward or make an adjustment to your stance. Your calves, thighs, and hips must all collaborate effectively. This coordinated muscular effort helps drive blood upward through the legs while reinforcing the physical strength required to remain independent. Many circulatory challenges worsen simply because these muscles gradually stop working in harmony with one another. Guidance from the National Institutes of Health highlights that combined lower body muscle activation enhances venous return and functional mobility in older adults more effectively than exercises targeting a single muscle group in isolation. When multiple leg muscles contract in a deliberate and connected sequence, the support provided to circulation becomes stronger and more consistent throughout the entire day. To practice, stand tall and relaxed. Lift your heels slowly and with intention. Pause briefly at the top, then lower them back down with control. Then softly bend your knees and return to a fully upright position. Keep everything smooth and unhurried, maintaining easy and natural breathing throughout. Begin with a modest range of motion and expand it only if everything feels genuinely comfortable. If you feel unsteady at any point, lean more into your hands for support or reduce how far you bend the knees. A frequent mistake is rushing through the movement or turning it into something resembling a squat. That is not the goal here. This is about steady, confident movement that feels familiar to your body and that you can repeat with ease every single day. For older adults, this exercise supports circulation, balance, and independence simultaneously. If you were to build just one movement into your daily routine to help your legs feel lighter and more capable after 60, this is the one that many healthcare professionals point to with confidence. Bonus, seated ankle circle flow. And as a special bonus, here is one additional movement that tends to get overlooked entirely, yet can make a genuine and meaningful difference, particularly on days when getting up and moving around does not feel appealing. This is the seated ankle circle flow, and it is exactly as gentle and accessible as it sounds. You can incorporate it first thing in the morning before you have even stepped out of bed, or at any point during the day when you have been sitting in the same position for an extended stretch. Here is why it carries real value. Your ankles represent the lowest major joint in the entire body. When they remain stiff and stationary, blood and fluid face greater difficulty working their way back up through the legs. Even small intentional ankle movements stimulate circulation in the feet and lower legs, which is precisely the area where pooling most commonly originates. This exercise is performed entirely from a seated position. Settle comfortably into your chair and lift both feet slightly off the floor. Just a few inches will do. Then slowly rotate one foot in a wide and smooth circular path. Continue in one direction through several rotations, then reverse the direction and repeat. Shift to the opposite foot and do the same. Keep the circles deliberate and unhurried, as though you are tracing a shape with your toes. Allow your breathing to remain steady and natural throughout the entire movement. Research from the American Heart Association has noted that gentle foot and ankle movement during periods of prolonged sitting helps reduce fluid accumulation in the lower extremities and supports healthy venous return. It is a modest habit to adopt, but one whose benefits compound meaningfully over the course of an entire day. To put this into practice, gently lift one foot off the floor and trace a full circle with your ankle. 5 rotations moving clockwise, followed by 5 rotations in the counterclockwise direction. Then shift to the other foot and repeat the same sequence. That completes one full set. You can revisit this 2 or 3 additional times throughout the day without generating any real fatigue whatsoever. A common error is keeping the circles too tight or moving through them too rapidly. Wider and slower circles draw in more of the surrounding tissue and do a far better job of prompting blood to begin moving again. Another mistake is tensing the rest of your body during the movement. Keep your shoulders easy and soft and let your breath stay relaxed. For older adults, this bonus movement is particularly valuable during lengthy car trips, air travel, or any setting where standing up is simply not a possibility. It is something you can do discreetly without attracting any notice while still actively caring for your legs and their well-being. Think of it as your quiet and reliable tool for staying comfortable no matter where life takes you. Closing. Over the past several minutes, you have seen how leg circulation after 60 is not about pushing yourself harder or mastering complicated exercise sequences. It begins with gently reawakening the muscles that assist blood in its upward journey. Then it progresses to restoring natural motion through the joints, developing the ability to shift body weight with ease and assurance, and ultimately bringing all of those elements together in a calm and practical standing movement. Each stage builds meaningfully on the one before it, which is exactly how the body prefers to adapt and grow stronger. When these movements are practiced with consistency, day after day and week after week, many older adults begin to notice that their legs feel notably lighter, less rigid, and more dependable. Rising from a chair becomes less of an effort. Sitting for extended periods begins to feel less uncomfortable. Walking feels more assured and fluid, not because you pushed or strained your body into compliance, but because you reminded it how to function as a coordinated and connected whole. Circulation improves not through force, but through clarity of movement and the power of steady repetition over time. The longer-term rewards extend well beyond physical comfort. Supporting healthy leg circulation helps safeguard your balance, lowers the worry associated with falling, and preserves your capacity to move through life on your own terms. These are not trivial outcomes. They are what allow you to remain engaged in your own home, enjoy meaningful moments with the people you love, and navigate each day without your legs becoming a constant source of concern or limitation. Aging does not mean surrendering control over your body. It means selecting movements that honor where your body is right now while still inviting it to grow and adapt. Small, thoughtful, and consistent habits like these can quietly support your health and vitality for many years ahead. Now, I would genuinely love to hear from you. Which aspect of leg discomfort affects your daily life the most right now? The heaviness, the swelling, or the fatigue? Share a comment with your age and let me know where in the world you are watching from today. If this video was helpful to you, please leave a comment with the number 1. If it missed the mark, feel free to leave a 0, and I will use that feedback to improve. Do not forget to like this video, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to this channel for more content crafted with your health in mind. Thank you sincerely for watching, and here is to moving through life fully and freely on your very own terms.